Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Salsa Kings Live. We are here, episode 16. I cannot believe we have made it this far already. Definitely super, super exciting. We're going to be talking about healthy competition today with DJ Mike Calderon. Great, great friend of ours here in the dance scene in Miami, doing big, big things. He was born and raised in Miami, Florida, with an Ecuadorian background. Arriba Ecuador. He's a DJ and event coordinator and promoter for the past 6 years, actually now going on 7. He's been a social dancer in the scene for 9 years, going on 10. So definitely has been, around the block, if you will, when it comes to seeing the scene and evolve over the past decade. Also is a professional master of ceremonies over the past 4 years, president of the Miami Salsa Dream Team, making big things happen here in Miami with his salsa and his mambo. Also a wonderful bachata DJ as well. He is a property manager by trade, but he's definitely making a big impact all the way through as he continues to provide excellent events for instructors such as myself, performers, students all around town in Miami and in Broward, including West Palm. Has DJ'd throughout the country as well as a guest DJ, just doing really, really big things. And the topic that he selected, as I had previously mentioned, is healthy competition. It's definitely a message that I found to be really, really important, if you will, as the rest of our subjects are, if you will, as far as for the importance of what it is to deliver a quality product. And unfortunately, it seems that the scene kind of gets personal when it comes to stuff like this and when it comes to business, as opposed to kind of like taking advantage of one another and learning from each other to be able to ultimately promote the industry that it is that we love. As we're all helping each other, we're all promoting this dance thing as a whole, we're ultimately able to promote and make a bigger impact and have a bigger reach ultimately to those that have no idea of what is it that we do and the joy that we're able to feel ultimately with just ourselves, the confidence that we have, kind of like just ultimately the change in which dance obviously has done for us. So without further ado, I could talk all day about this. I'm going to go ahead and bring on our guest on here. Like I said, a great friend of mine, great person. And he's going to go ahead and take the floor here. Let me see if I can go ahead and bring him on here. Give me 1 second. Mike, can you hear me, brother?
Yes, I can hear you, Andres.
What's going on, man? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, man. First of all, thank you so much for having me here on this interview on this beautiful Monday night, bro, with Salsa Kings fam and everybody watching us and tuning in. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Andres. So I can, let's get started.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, exactly how the same way, brother. I appreciate you taking the time to obviously, of course, talk to our viewers about something that I definitely feel was a great choice as far as for a topic is concerned. For those of you that don't know, we always have our interviewees select something that they're particularly passionate about. And Mike chose healthy competition and kind of like a in a unifying sense where we're able to really, really come together and promote the industry as a whole, as opposed to kind of like, going after the neck of each other, if you will, and allowing ultimately for everyone to experience the joy together. So, but before we go into that, man, tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about you. Tell us a little bit about, everyone's got a crazy story about how they entered the scene, man, and it kind of it takes a lot of us by surprise. I mean, unless you're kind of the case, something that you perhaps grew up with, etc. I mean, please go ahead. I'll let you
Yeah.
take the floor.
Yeah. Well, music is always growing up, 5 years old, all the way to like 17 years old. Music was always like a hidden passion of mine. I never really discovered it until later on in my high school years. But once I discovered it, I started playing piano. I took some piano courses in high school, and that's how my passion for music started growing. So I took 2 years of piano in high school, more of classical music, more of blues, blues rhythms.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, and then in high school I was more into the into rock music. I was more into, old school rock, the metal rock. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing.
Sure.
Yeah, rock was my thing growing up, but I never got into Latin music until I was 21. When I was 21, that was like you can say I was a late bloomer. Now
Nice.
I was in college, and the way I got into it was because of an old high school friend. One time we were playing basketball, and at that time, Salsa Mia at Yucca was a very popular dance school to go to
Absolutely.
dance and take classes there. And at that time, I had no idea, what dancing was about, what salsa was about. I did dance a little bit of merengue, a little bit of bachata, but never salsa. So old high school friend, we were playing basketball one time, and he said, "Let's go check out Salsa Mia at Yucca." And I've seen Salsa Mia. I've seen the classes on the second floor every time I walk by Lincoln Road, but it never caught my interest to go in until my friend invited me. We both went together. So
Right.
one night we went, man, and let me tell you, it was the best feeling in the world to finally catch the salsa rhythm and know how to dance. And when one night, literally one night, I finally understood what the 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7 was all about, and I put it all
Nice.
together. And unfortunately, my friend didn't continue. He got bored of it. He kind of retired. I haven't seen him in forever. But since that day, um, I, I stuck with it. And I was with Salsa Mir for such a long time, um, doing, Rueda de Casino, dancing on Friday nights with Tony Zucar when he was live every Friday night. So those were like,
That's
for
right.
me, the golden days of salsa for me. You know what I'm saying? I met
For
so many
sure.
people. I made a lot of networks that, we had large groups. It was just freaking incredible back then, the way the scene was. And, and I'm just so happy that I was able to experience that and then branch out after that. So after dancing a casino for a while, and I started calling out ruedas at the salsa mia parties, So I
Hey.
started taking the lead. I started taking leadership and stuff like that. And then eventually I started discovering LA style. LA style first, on 2 came later. LA
Okay.
style through Salsa Caribe by Jose Luis
Okay.
Gutierrez. Yeah, and that's by me going to one of his parties. So one time I went to a Salsa Caribe social. I learned what LA style was, and it was I started. I didn't and get this. I didn't take any classes for LA style. All I did, the way I learned how to dance LA style was by YouTubing, which I just looked at a lot of dancers and practiced on my own, and that's how I started dancing in the line,
In
if you
line.
will, the LA style does. So I started fusing that with casino, and that's how my style began to evolve to LA style, and then after LA style, I discovered that there's an on two dance on salsa. I'm like, oh crap, I want to learn how to do that. And one of the first people to teach me on two was Denise Cambria.
Oh, nice. Okay, great.
Yeah, yeah. Denise Cambria was one of the first persons to teach me on two. And then I started dancing on two. Wasn't good at it in the beginning, but I caught the rhythm.
Sure.
YouTube. Everything I learned LA and on two was through YouTube, mostly watching other dancers, going to BTS, the Born to Salsa social, Caribe social, and all these other socials that are very popular. So that's how my passion for dance evolved to dancing on two, and then I started going to Negro Fino's events, which were at Le Cafe, Moonshine, stuff like that. All this. By the way, all this happened simultaneously. While I was learning, I was going out to all these parties simultaneously.
Right.
So
Well, really
so the
quick.
timeline is right there.
Right. So that timeline, what years are we talking about? How long have you been taking classes already? Around what time frame did you start going out? Like how did all this kind of unravel?
2009. In 2009, I started dancing, and from 2009 to 2012 was my years of learning to dance, you know, and gaining experience, getting exposure of the music, of the culture, and getting to know people, building my network and stuff like that. And I never thought that I was gonna be a DJ or be an event coordinator or anything. I thought about that. You
Wow,
know what
there
I'm
you
saying?
go. Okay.
Yeah. So it was just an inspiration that came to me. You know, I was like, one day I'm like, I wanna do parties. I want to make people have fun. I want to make people feel comfortable. I want people to dance. So throughout the years between 2009 2012, when I started doing my first social, I've gathered a lot of knowledge in music and salsa, you know, and I started collecting music and building my repertoire because of that. And I did a little party here and there in 2012, but then I started building off of that. I started working with Negro Fino as well at the Well. I don't know if our viewers are familiar with that, but the Well. I don't know if you remember, Andres. Do you remember the Well?
Absolutely, brother. Of course, of course, of course, of course.
I would say the Well was the one that it was the venue that made me, I guess you could say, because the Well was very popular. We did a hell of a promotion there. We promoted the hell out of it. It was on Thursday nights. We had so many performers go through that venue. A lot of dancers came out. I was DJing, and that's how my name actually came out to be, started growing to become
Sure.
DJ. And after the Well ended, I continued to other venues to Abuelas, Puntino, Groovies, these other venues that eventually came along. My longest venue that I've had was Groovies.
Yes.
I was there for almost 4 years on Lincoln Road. It was definitely an experience. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of great nights, and I had a lot of bad nights. But it's part of the business, and like you said, part of the competition, which is what we're talking about today.
Absolutely.
Times change. Times change. Dancers' minds change. And just the thing that keeps us alive, keeps the competition healthy, is by bringing in new people into the scene and showing them, look, this is casino, this is LA style, this is on two. Nobody should be restricted as to you should only learn how to dance this style of dance when there's these other two styles of dance to dance to. You know what I'm saying? It's good to expose your students to more all the styles. If you know how to teach them, great. If you don't, I would refer them to somebody, another professional dancer, another professional dance studio that knows how to teach them, so they can evolve. And that's the purpose of a good dance instructor is when their students evolve as a dancers, where they can point to that dancer and say, I show that person the path, I show that person the road on how to become a great dancer.
Right, absolutely. Or even more so, when a student is able to point you out and say, that's my casino instructor, that's my LA salsa instructor, that's my mambo instructor. Even if they're different people, that they're able to obviously, of course, take the most from everyone. I mean, look what you just said. I mean, we're kind of, jumping the gun here, but that's cool. I mean, you had no idea that you were going to be an event, an event coordinator, promoter, president of the Miami Salsa Dream Team, etc. But because of these people, because of Tony Sukat, because of Salsa Mia, because of Denise Cambria, because of BTS and Jose Luis at Salsa Caribe and his monthly socials, Negro Fino's events, all of these things develop ultimately you and who you are today. And I think that's so awesome that sometimes that we miss that, that the fact is that we are working together in this to really, really develop the future. Oh, really what it is, we're so many people so often that we don't even realize, and I think that, as long as we continue to do that, without trying to slow it down. I mean, it's nature. It's definitely something that as long as we all embrace it together and we continue to grow and offer the best that we can, then we're going to ultimately impact more people and bring more people to this dance scene, this salsa thing, this bachata thing, this mambo thing, this kizomba thing, whatever it is that everyone's doing, to be able to move forward with that. So that's awesome, man. I mean, that's really, really cool to see that history there. I mean, it's definitely if I'm not mistaken, that's all here in Miami, right? That's Miami, 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 all day.
All in Miami with the Cuban influences, the Puerto Rican influences, the New York influences. You know, eventually, like I said, eventually, my niche, my specialization, if you want to say that, is the New York salsa and with the Puerto Rican influences. That's my type of music that I like you know, the Fania All Stars, Bobby Valentin, Ray Barreto, Roberto Roena, you know, all those guys, all those old school heavy hitters that came out with amazing music. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. There's you know, I love timba as well. I like Habana de Primera, you know, Michael Blanco. I love all these timba bands. And I will dance casino to it any day, anytime. If they were to play, we'll dance a rueda. You know what I'm saying? But my favorite what really gets me going is the Funny All Stars type music. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And there's no reason why that wouldn't be the case. It's absolutely phenomenal music. And it gets you moving, brother. It gets you moving. There's no doubt about it, man. And I love it. I personally take a loving to it as well. I mean, everybody that knows me, I'm a super ultra fan of everything casino and Cuban and timba and everything like that. But the fact is, bro, is that you can't take away from the Fania All Stars. They're absolutely phenomenal. You put that thing on, I'm hitting my mambo step too, brother. You can't help it. You can't help it. You can't. Obviously, of course, with the understanding of what it, you know, of the real essence and the feeling behind it, because I think that, you know, definitely your casino has a certain feeling, your LA has a certain feeling, your mambo has a certain feeling, and as an instructor, we definitely want to be able to transmit that. You know, and I love that mambo feeling. I mean, me personally, I do.
One thing everybody's gotta keep in mind as well, Andres, is that every rhythm that you've ever heard of, whether it comes from Habana de Primera or Fania All Stars, whichever rhythm, all came from el son cubano.
Absolutely.
Cuban music. That's what the essence is. You know what I'm saying? None of this music would exist if it wasn't for the Cuban music. You know what I'm saying? So all the credit has to go to Cuba for, you know, for el son, el danzón, la guaracha. You know what I'm saying? So that was the original influence by Arsenio Rodriguez, you know, Machito, Cachao, you know, all these old school 50s artists that made the music to what it is today.
I love it. I love it so much. It's crazy. I love it. I love the cha-cha-chas. I love all that deep-rooted stuff. But anyways, we can go on about this forever. Let's try to stay on topic here. Okay, so all right. So Miami, heavy bass. Okay, so now, as far as for today is concerned, man, I mean, I guess, you know, you're putting on, I mean, I've been to a lot of your events. We've actually done a lot together. For those of you that don't know, Salsa Kings and Miami Salsa Dream Team have partnered up under several occasions, and it's always worked out wonderfully. You put on great events, brother. You do. Thank you for that. Thank you for your contribution to the scene. Thank you for allowing, you know, students of ours to you know, enjoy your parties and to smile with you, and allowing that, because it's not easy. You know, definitely I can speak for, you know, the instructor / studio owner / event coordinator myself, that it's difficult to always be going out. And you doing that, I know that it's got to take a toll on you physically. You know, on mentally stressful, that you're always off course on a time clock, etc. I mean, I respect that so much. Like, you have no idea. You have workshops always at your stuff. You always have performances. I mean, there's a standard there, which I appreciate. And I'm sure a lot of our students and just people that obviously pick their tenure places really do as well.
Right.
So where do you kind of see this going? Where do you kind of see it evolving, if at all? I mean,
yeah.
Hey, next week I'm actually announcing I'd like to use this show to retire. No, I mean, where do you kind of see this going? Where do you see Miami Salsa Dream Team in 5 years? You know.
Well, I mean, I know for a fact that the long-term goal is to start my own Congress. You know, to start my own Congress. Eventually, I want to do that. It is something that I feel like I'm not ready yet, or I'm not prepared. Just because I don't have the means yet. But
Sure.
You know, every day that passes by, I'm working on it. Every event that I do, I work on it little by little. So my contribution to my goal is every event that I do. every second that I spend organizing, thinking about improving things, performers to contact, instructors to contact. Everything I do is to reach my main goal, which is to start a Congress one day.
I love it.
And yeah. And it's doing so many events throughout the years. I've come to learn one thing as well, is that there's always going to be competition out there, but competition is the way you take it, the way people react to it. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
I could be doing a Friday night, somebody else could be doing another Friday night, or any night of the week. On the same night that I'm doing a night, it's you got to learn how to cope with it. It's part of the business. We're not the only. I'm not the only one doing what what I do. It's you just got to bring in the best. And when I say bring in the best, I don't do anything different than what these other event organizers do.
Okay.
I bring in the instructors. I bring in performances. Once in a while, bring in a live band, which I have, like Miami local live band. But the most important thing, the most selling point that makes my parties different is that I have such a great team with me, with Lily Lamore on my side as well. What we bring is something special, something different that I don't think anybody else brings to the table to their parties. We bring smiles, we bring laughter, we bring positive vibes. We don't think about anything negative during the party, whether something's going wrong or not. Even though recently I've had an incident at one of my parties where I felt like the whole, like the entire earth was coming down on me, and it was hard to keep a composure. It was hard to keep a composure, but times will get you like that, but you got to learn how to cope with it. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
being laughing and welcoming everybody, it's just that client service base that I think every event organizer should have to be successful, to be remembered, because people will remember you and say, you know what, I like Mike's parties because he's always smiling, he's always bringing positive energy. Or I like the parties because Lily's very welcoming, stuff like that. So the team that I have right now is really good, and I wouldn't trade it for a single thing in the world. All we got to do is just keep improving, make it better, and give people what they want. Whether you're an advanced dancer or a beginner, we want you to feel like welcomed. We want you to dance. We want you to mingle with everybody and just have a great time, basically. What I'm saying?
That's a big one too. That's a big one too, man. Definitely it's this the scene has a tendency to develop cliques. And it's difficult. It's difficult to bypass that, man. And I give you credit because I have been there, obviously nowhere near as much as you have, but I do understand those feelings and kind of just wanting the energy to circulate at all times. And you kind of want everybody to you just want to make sure that, that they made the effort to get dressed, to get in their car, to drive to where you're at, to pay for parking if there's parking, to pay for cover if there's a cover, to buy a drink, whatever, and to make it so that it was worth it for them. And it's often difficult to do, especially as the parties obviously, of course, get larger. And you kind of just, again, you kind of want everybody to just make sure that everybody's having a good time. And to make that happen is not easy, man. So again, kudos to you as you make that apparently a point. You make that a point to make sure that everybody's doing that, man. So that's awesome. And it definitely, again, I've learned that memory has, its way of kind of locking into your mind, if you will, via emotion. So if you're having a time, if you're smiling and you're laughing, that's what's going to click and that's what's going to register. I mean, forgive me for being a brain when it comes to that, and as far as for trying to see what works, if you will. But you're getting that done, man. You're getting that done, and it obviously shows. I mean, like I said, you've if I'm not mistaken, you've been invited across the country for DJing, right?
Yeah, I've DJed at the Orlando Salsa Congress. I've DJed at the Tampa Salsa Congress. I DJed at the Tallahassee Latin Dance Festival. My main one right now is the New York Salsa Congress. On Labor Day weekend. So I'm actually now the the tech rehearsal and performance DJ for that event. So the entire music that you hear on the performance, on the stage, that's all me. and I also get a set too. I also get to play during the night parties as well. So
Beautiful.
that's my main gig right now for regarding traveling outside of Miami. You know what
Nice,
I'm
man.
saying?
That's beautiful, bro. One step at a time, man. And that's an honor, bro. It's that the fact that you're able to build up that kind of name for yourself and make those travels, doing what you love, man. And I think that we're all kind of in the same spot here. Which I think we can kind of roll into our topic, if you will, with that right off of that topic that you know, salsa mia, salsa caribe, BTS, Negro Fino, Tony Suka, Denise Cambria. I just listed the ones that just what you had mentioned,
Right.
basically allow you to be able to make an impact for the future generations because you've been inspired to chase your dream. And I think, again, because we're ultimately all trying to do that, I think we should all be supportive of that. I mean, we're all trying to go after, we're all trying to make a dollar doing what it is that we love, and the fact that we're making that happen little by little is definitely one, I think, really courageous of everyone that's in the scene and making this happen for themselves, along with, obviously, of course, yourself and everything that you're doing. So um, how do we eliminate the
The griminess, the
saltiness, how it's obviously when you're talking about human beings, it's very difficult to kind of eliminate ourselves from the defense, if you will, because I don't think anyone means harm to each other. Not that we're causing harm to each other, but uh, as instead of being 100% fully supportive, perhaps we may give a cold shoulder, or perhaps we might get internally upset, or we might do things to not necessarily sabotage each other, but that instead of pushing Miami forward as a whole, we're kind of just thinking that there's only one pie as opposed to an infinite amount of pies for everybody, as long as we continue to build a client base. How do we get that message across? Obviously, of course, aside from what it is that we're doing right now, what can we do to assure people of that? I mean, what do you think? What do you think, bro?
I think that in order for us, all of us, to get along, whether DJs, event organizers, dance school owners, performers, I think one of the most important thing is to stop hating on each other, to cut the bullshit out, to respect one another. Just like in any type of industry or business, if you want to succeed, you have to not step on anybody's toes. Respect the people who've been there before you. Respect the people who are working with you, or respect your counterparts as well. You know, that's one of, I think that is the main thing that is gonna get us all through together. I've had my share of bad experiences, people stepping on my toes and stuff like that, because it's a lot of the salsa, any scene and any industry, you're gonna have haters, you're gonna have people looking down on
Right.
you and thinking that you're no good, or thinking that you're never gonna amount to anything. You know what I'm saying? But that's all on you, whether you want to believe that or not. I choose to believe otherwise,
Right.
because I know that with the Miami Salsa Dream Team, we're coming up, and we're going to come up, and we're going to do eventually a Congress for everybody to enjoy, and a Congress that's going to be worth it, a Congress that's going to make people, learn all types of dancing, mainly salsa bachata, and it's an idea that I have. I haven't fully molded it, but it's
Sure.
what I want to do eventually one day. So basically, it's just everybody needs to cut the crap. Don't step on anybody's toes. If you have if you're teaching casino in one place, if you're teaching and there's somebody else teaching casino, you know, I'm not gonna say next door, but maybe like on the other side of town, 20, 30 minutes away, you shouldn't take offense to that, because they're nowhere in your vicinity.
Right.
It has a right to, to grow. But one thing that I don't like with this, and this goes to everybody watching, this is one thing that I don't like, is that students who think that they can take 3 months worth of classes and open up their own dance studios are completely wrong. You know what I'm saying? That is unhealthy competition. You know what I'm saying? When you do that, you don't just disrespect the other people that taught you how to dance, or you're disrespecting the culture, our culture of dance. Because when you do that, you have no idea what you're doing. You haven't studied the music long enough. You don't know the culture. You don't know the music. You don't know the dance that well. You have to stick to your instructors, learn from other instructors, build yourself, and then eventually one day, if you want to open up your dance studio, once you're ready, then you do it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that goes with anything. I mean, you could say that for
DJs, exactly.
right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Somebody can just grab a laptop, download virtual DJ, and just say, "Oh, I'm a DJ." You know, it's kind of like that's a slap in the face on me. You know, it's like I've spent so many years collecting music, researching music, and for you to just come and download virtual DJ with like 20 songs and call yourself a DJ is like ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Well, I mean, what you said, piggybacking off of what you said, I think it's about how you take it also, because, with someone, for example, with someone opening up, let's say a studio, or for someone who just decides to start DJing. I mean, you have oftentimes there's people that, they'll come in and they're like, oh, I got a great business idea. I'll charge half of what everyone charges, and think that that's how they're going to take over the world. And what ends up happening is the market. I mean, it needs to be clear, because that's I think it also an issue as far as for starting to appreciate what healthy competition really is. It's establishing, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, and for those of you that are watching, if you feel otherwise, please let me know, and let us know. Please feel free to contribute. But I think it goes back to knowing what your niche is. It goes back to knowing who is it that you're catering to, because if you're perhaps, you're in the game 10, 20 years, you're not trying to, for lack of better words, just as an example, the person who wants to try salsa and they're getting a group on, like, that's great, that's wonderful that exists, but I'm looking more for the people. For example, in my case, we're looking to develop champions. We want people that are in it for the long haul. We want people that that are not, for example, looking for a penny. These are people willing to invest in their dance, because the fact is that we've invested in our industry the same way that you have in your DJing, to be able to deliver high quality products to where, there's someone who's opening it up and catering to that person is not really going to affect you. Or at least, again, like how you said, that's how I try and take it, or that's the mindset that I try and have around that, so that, hey, by all means, do what you do. But the fact is that, I'm looking for somebody specific, and you're looking for somebody specific, or maybe you're just shooting general in the dark. I mean, and by all means, that's cool too. But I know what I'm after, kind of like the same way that you know what you're after. So right. I think if everyone has those goals in mind, or those mission statements written, or, for example, like, that you want to develop a Congress. That's phenomenal. That you need to build a fan base specifically around the music that you like to play, and continue to offer something. For example, you're saying the energy, the smiles, the laughter, the overall good customer service, and making them feel at home, to be able to create that crowd. So anyone that's not doing that really doesn't necessarily pose a threat, if you will. They're just expanding that we're trying to do. So I agree with you 100% on that, which is great, bro. And I agree with you times 20, man. And I mean, and where else? I mean, where else? How else do you think that we can go ahead and aside from kind of knowing your niche, you're saying to stop the haterade, stop drinking the haterade, if you will.
Yeah.
I think that'll ultimately help. I mean, what else? What else, man? I mean, again, we can do this all day.
Yeah, no, I mean, another thing is also to support each other. Let's say Salsa Kings comes to a Miami Salsa Dream Team, and vice versa. Miami Salsa Dream Team comes to a Salsa Kings event. If we all support each other in the scene, we all come together. We all, choose a date and say, this night we're gonna go to this person's party, or this night we're gonna go to that person's party. There's a lot of parties going on. It's tough to keep up, but if we can just once in a while support each other as much as possible, as much as possible, I think the scene can get better. Mentoring your students as well, mentoring upcoming event organizers or DJs that want to, learn the music and want to become what you become, and you inspire other people to be in your shoes. So that's also a great thing. I think mentoring is also a really positive thing in creating the future of, once we're gone, that they're going to take over. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's hard. That's easier said than done. What I find to be really unfortunate, I'm on your side here 100% when it comes to this as well, is I find that there's a lot of people wanting to do things on their own and kind of learn the hard way. I think that there is not enough of a student mentality. Actually, wow, I'm going to go back to episode 4 from Street to Stage with Billy Fajardo. He said he's already a professional, past, retired. Now he's training, and he's saying that he's always a student. I think that part is really missing, to be able to really, really juice your instructors and everyone that's been before you, and to take advantage of everything that they have to offer before going out and trying to do it on your own. The last thing that we would ever want to do is hurt you, but you're only shooting yourself in the foot by not taking that mentoring. So I think well, it goes both ways too, because there's a lot of people that don't want to mentor because they think that they're going to get replaced.
And one thing, Andres, also that plays a big part in this in this whole problem that we're having, with unhealthy competition and people, doing what they want to do and not, and stepping on each other's toes and not respecting their original instructors per se, is the ego. The ego is man's worst enemy. I'll tell you that. The ego, once the ego gets to you, it's hard to bring it down. If we can all let go of our egos and just accept, we have to accept, we have to know, we have to face reality and say we're not the best in what we do by far, because we're learning every day. I'm not the best in what I do because I'm a student. You're right. You're absolutely right. The best instructor is the one who is a student always. You know what I'm saying? That is the best instructor. So
absolutely.
So that and the best leader as well. Somebody who takes in constructive criticism well, somebody who learns from other from other instructors who are also learning as well. It's all a matter of learning. You know what I'm saying? And when you learn, you evolve. And because once you stop learning, you hit the ceiling, and that's it for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your ego kicks in, and you don't want to do anything else, and you become a pseudo superstar per se. and you might go far for a little bit, but in the long run, you're not going to go far.
Right. Right. Well, and that's where, I think that if we take the time as students, see, the thing is that you have to have the right mindset before going in. As a student, if you really are a student, you'll start to see the patterns of what makes somebody successful and what makes somebody that's not successful. Who's taking the time? Who's doing the most? I like to use my analogy is who's taking the most time in intro class? Who's mastering their timing the best before moving? Who's graduating first grade with straight A's before moving on to fifth grade? Everyone wants to, 2019 now, microwave, next, go, next. It's like, well, what happened to the process? And I think that experience, when it boils down to it, as long as those that are experienced still stick with the game. You've been dancing for going on 10 years now. Miami Salsa Dream Team now for 6 going on 7 years. You really quick, you started DJing and throwing parties at the same time? Wow, that's admirable. That's admirable.
But the parties when I started, excuse me, I'm a little sick, guys, by the way. So,
Oh, gotcha. You're a
when
trooper. You're a trooper.
the little parties I started throwing were like at my house, you know,
Yeah,
at a little tiny little restaurant. That's how I started, like by doing, moms and pops type thing. You know what I'm saying? Kind of
sure.
like that.
As it should be. As it should be. That's how you get your start. You get your feet wet, and and you go ahead and you start making that happen. No, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it is. I started at home. I started doing little cafeterias here and there, and that's how. And then I started expanding, putting myself out there. There were even times where, just to put my name out there, I would go guest DJ for free. It's part of the nature. It's part of the game.
Right.
It's part of the music industry, if you will. That you wanna sometimes promotion is more valuable than the money. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Sure.
Promotion
Absolutely.
is more than the money, because people are gonna remember your name. They're gonna remember you. And whenever you host a party, they're gonna be like, "Oh, let's go to Mike because he plays good music." And there's your
Absolutely.
return.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Well, I mean, yeah, again, that's kind of like the respectable, baby steps that everybody has to go through to then obviously, of course, make a name for yourself to where you're being, sent off to New York to go ahead and make that happen, which is phenomenal, man. I mean, that's great. The company with Salsa Kings is in the same spot, and we're poquito a poco, we're starting to move, and after so many years is when this is finally starting to happen, and hopefully we can inspire new and upcoming dance studios in our area to go ahead and try and shoot for that as well. I mentioned in previous in webisodes as well in podcasts, thanks to Karen and Ricardo painting the it's kind of like paving the way for us as they make it to World of Dance and the final and the final couples, if you will, which is absolutely phenomenal to kind of like just show that this is even possible. And they killed it. They did so well. They did phenomenal.
Yeah, they definitely represented the salsa scene very highly when they went on World of Dance, and me for one, I'm very proud of them. I admire them a lot for what they did and their performance. They, because of them, now the salsa scene is on the map and people know what salsa is about.
Right.
They were actually invited to perform at the New York Congress this year. They were the ones that closed on Saturday night. Karen and Ricardo, I had the pleasure of meeting them and shaking their hand and telling them thank you so much for everything
That's
you do,
awesome.
and representing us all as a whole.
Exactly.
Extreme.
Exactly.
So that's
Same
what it's
thing.
all about.
Yeah, same thing with this movie that I saw that it was great as well. It's Shine.
You thought it was great?
I thought it was great. I thought it was, I mean, for what it was as a salsa movie, as opposed to I've seen some other ones in the past, which they kind of like touched on it, but this was it represented what is it that we do, and the struggles and the representation of the culture and the art versus kind of like the business and the money and the conflicting worlds. I think
Message was great. The message was amazing. I enjoyed the messages very, very much.
That's what I'm referring to. So I mean, definitely they again, these little things, even if there was room for improvement, the fact that it was done, and that's where this whole, and that's why I agree with your topic so much is to unless we produce a movie, we can't say there's anything bad about that. You know what I'm saying? In that sense, like the fact that that's even there, the fact that someone, because we went with a bunch of our students, we went as a studio together to go watch the movie, and a lot of these kids, they're under 18, and they're watching this for the first time. Oh, look at that guy's on the on the screen.
Yeah.
That's so cool, and the fact that that's even possible for and allowing a little one to be inspired like that is a big deal. And hopefully there'll be many more to come. Hopefully it'll be even better. Maybe there'll be a Shine 2, or maybe there'll be a competitor. And that's all a good thing, because ultimately what's happening is it's just growing everything.
Right. It's inspiring. It's inspiring another group. It's inspiring the next generation to do a movie, to continue to dance. You know what I'm saying? So the messages that it sends, it's it's amazing. I loved it. We don't know if the movie Shine is gonna end there. Like you said, there might be a Shine Part 2. Who knows? The point is that when the movie came out, everybody saw it. It definitely left a mark as to the next generation for who's gonna pick up the baton, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
So Shine was a really good movie in that sense, and I enjoyed it very much.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So okay, so then if we're to kind of like summarize on everything that we spoke about, we said ultimately not necessarily directly support, because ultimately we are competition, but to respect the fact that we're in the same industry and we're promoting the same thing. So to have a healthy respect for one another, to go ahead and make that happen. You had mentioned mentoring. I think that's definitely a big deal on both parties, where the mentor should be in a position that's wow, the first word that comes to my head is disponible. Willing is willing to go ahead and make that happen, and the student being a student and taking advantage of the opportunities and learning from multiple people, not just one person, but as many as they possibly can, to get the ultimately best viewpoint, but more importantly, to see the results of the mentor that they're selecting. It's what's the phrase? Broke people like to give free advice.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you should, if you're trying to lose weight, you shouldn't be really taking advice from someone who's overweight. And these are just examples, obviously, of course, but it's important as a student to take that in perspective and to try and see what the results are. And definitely, generally speaking, those with more experience have a little bit more insight, just literally because they've seen more.
Right.
So I agree with you there. Was there another one that I'm missing?
And not stepping on anybody's toes.
Right.
Supporting each other as much as possible.
Right.
Coming out to each other's events, even referring students to the studios. You know what I'm saying? If somebody wants to dance casino, I'm going to tell them, look, there's Salsa Kings. You can go learn amazing casino there. You want to learn LA, go to Salsa Caribe. You want to go on to go to Prestige in Fort Lauderdale, So, there's so many.
Amongst others,
These are just the first names that come up because we talked about them,
Sure. Absolutely, man.
So
I hear you 100%.
And that's what it basically is all about, bro. Me as a DJ in the DJ industry and doing events, apart from the smiles and the positive energy that we bring from the Miami Salsa Dream Team, is not just that. It's also good music. Every day there's new music coming out. There's I stay on top of my game as much as possible. I'm always out there grabbing music as much as I can. I recently got into collecting vinyls, so I got into collecting vinyl records. So that's really good. I gotta thank Danny Diaz for that. So
nice, awesome. Yeah, thanks, Danny. Yeah, I see he's been on that tip for a little bit now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
If you actually, I think I would like to show everybody kind of like what it is that you do, man. The beach party or the rooftop Latin pool party. Definitely a lot of fun. Let me go ahead and let me see if I can throw this on here really quick. Give me one second. Ahead. So we can kind of show everybody what the deal is here. 1 second here. Let me see if I can organize this the right way. There we go. All right. Siempre un logo, bro. Siempre tú estás ahí tirado.
Yeah. Bro, that video, I gotta give credit to Christian Valles, amazing videographer and photographer. He was out there taking video for me, and he did an amazing job with this video.
Beautiful. Guys, these are a lot of fun, man. If you guys are watching this, take a moment to look up Miami Salsa Dream Team Instagram or Facebook. I'll definitely leave
Facebook, Andres.
Facebook. Okay, great. So I'll definitely go
Facebook.
ahead and leave that in the comments so that you guys can check that out. Definitely, really, really a lot of fun. I could say that firsthand, as I take a personal liking to your events, my brother de verdad.
Thank you, bro. Hey,
Definitely.
I got love for you too. I got love for the Salsa Kings family. You already know. But no, I was gonna say the Facebook page. If you guys want to follow me, follow us, me and Lily. We're the Miami Salsa Dream Team is on Facebook. Look us up, Miami Salsa Dream Team, and the Instagram would be at DJ M as in Mike Calderon. DJ M Calderon. I post all the videos, all the events that are coming up, and all my personal crap there. So on Instagram, but the main page is the Miami Salsa Dream Team, and you can also look me up on my personal profile on Facebook, Mike Calderon.
Perfect. Let me see if I could type that out here really quick. So it's facebook.com/Miami Salsa Dream Team. So I'll give everybody a moment to go ahead and catch that. And then you had said that your Instagram, it's your personals at DJ M Calderon.
DJ M Calderon, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's the only Instagram that I have, but I use that for everything, you know.
Sure. All right. We'll just give everybody a second to take a look at that. DJ M Calderon. Did I do that right, my brother?
I can't see it.
Okay, gotcha. So I have at the letters DJ M Calderon. Perfect. Awesome, guys. Fantastic, man. Hey, my brother, believe it or not, we've been on here already 50 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about a lot, and it was great sharing my experience with you and all the viewers out there watching us on the Salsa Kings channel. And right, Salsa Kings channel. Did I get it right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, everything's Salsa Kings now.
Say what?
Everything's Salsa Kings now. I know there was a whole confusion there in the past, but now, gracias a Dios, everything's Salsa Kings now.
Back to Salsa Kings. Thank God. But I hope everybody learned something. I hope everybody took some advice. You know, guys. Thank you all for all your support. Thank you for supporting Andres. He does a phenomenal job with his webcast here and the dance studio. So make sure, guys, to please support Salsa Kings. Go out to their studio, take a class, bring a friend, go out to their parties. You guys are more than welcome to come check me out too. Come check us out, me and Lily Lamore at Miami Salsa Dream Team, and all the events that we do. Oh, and just to give everybody a heads up, I have some upcoming projects that I'm working on right now. So
yes, please share.
So I had a meeting today with Ball and Chain. Ball and Chain is interested in having us. Yeah, everybody, I'm excited for that. They actually want to change things up. I'm not gonna give too much details, but Ball and Chain did reach out to us, and there's a huge possibility for us to start doing hosting a night there. It will be announced soon. It will be announced at the Miami Salsa Dream Team page, and I'm also looking for another Friday night in South Beach. I have a venue as well. We have a venue there. We're gonna move forward with that. And everybody knows the pool party once a month that we're doing. So,
amen, brother.
So yeah, just follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and then you guys will stay updated there.
Love it, brother. That's awesome, man. Again, thank you so much for your time, bro. Thank you so much for your message. Much appreciated, man. Your time is money, man, and thank you for taking the time. To talk to our viewers about something that's really important, that's ultimately going to launch this whole thing forward, which I think we've really come a long way over the past, let's say, 5 years, if you will. I think things have moved forward. At least I'm hearing from the actual students themselves, that they've been really saying, oh, I love the salsa scene because everybody's together. I love that everybody's kind of mingles with each other. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. That's music to my ears. That the last thing I would ever want to do is have anybody, join our family and have them think that there's any kind of negative anything,
Right.
That this is all happiness, this is all smiles, this is all for an experience, this is all for meeting people, this is all for, just experiencing a whole new world, hashtag Aladdin. That it really is wonderful. It really is life changing. And
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. Things have changed a lot. There's still improvements to be done, you know. So just as long as everybody just gets into that mentality of healthy competition, respect one another, love each other. Most importantly, we can all get through it all together and peacefully and work together and support each other. And that's what it's all about. That's how the Miami salsa scene is going to get better.
Amen, brother. Absolutely, guys. If you are watching this on Facebook now, fantastic. Feel free to type in the comments below join, JOIN, and it automatically registers you to receive a push notification on Messenger to let you know when the next episode is coming live. If you are listening to the podcast version of this, text the word join to 69922. So the phone number that you're going to put in your phone is 69922, and you're going to text the word join, JOIN, and you're going to go ahead and receive a text message about the next time that we go live, so that you can go ahead and experience not just the audio version, but the video as well. So you can see the beautiful faces of our guests, and we can go ahead and take advantage
This beautiful
of that.
face right here.
No, awesome. Again, thank you so much, Mike. You're the man. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see
Thank
you
you for
all.
having me, Andres.
Absolutely, man. Be good,
Thank
brother.
you.
Have a good night.
All right, everybody. Good night. Good night,
Bye-bye.
Andres.
Be
All
good,
right.
brother.